The stars stretched endlessly across the black canvas of space, a quiet testament to how small humanity had become in the grand universe. Yet, on the edge of the Sol sector, a storm of destruction was brewing, a storm that could erase humanity from existence if left unchecked. On the bridge of the orbital command station Haven 7, alarms flashed in urgent red. Officers ran across the deck, their boots clanging against the metal floors, voices tense but controlled. The reports came faster than anyone could process. Entire colonies had fallen silent. Sensor sweeps showed entire cities reduced to ash, and survivors were scattered across distant moons. Admiral Cale Renshaw, a veteran of countless space conflicts, stood at the central console. His face, lined with years of command, was grim. The weight of the galaxy's last hope pressed down on him like the gravity of a dying star. "Status report," he barked, his voice carrying across the chaos of the bridge. Lieutenant Mira Solis, the tactical officer, responded immediately. "Sir, the Xylar Collective's fleet has jumped into the sector. They're moving faster than predicted. Our forward defenses were overwhelmed before we could even respond." Kyle's jaw tightened. Humanity had survived wars, rebellions, and countless alien threats, but nothing had prepared them for the Xylars. A species engineered for conquest, the Collective seemed almost unstoppable, ruthless, methodical, and without mercy. Entire worlds had fallen in days, and intelligence suggested they were now targeting the Sol system. He turned to the council of commanders surrounding him. "We have no time. If we wait for reinforcements, we'll be too late. Humanity's survival depends on action. Bold, decisive action." There was a pause as everyone processed the enormity of his words. Then, from the far side of the room, a calm voice broke through the tension. "Admiral, there is one ship, one option that might just stand a chance," said Commander Celine Varga, a young but brilliant strategist. Her eyes sparkled with determination, the kind that could ignite courage even in the most hopeless moments. Cale's gaze sharpened. "Go on," he said. Celine stepped closer. "The Erebus. It's humanity's most advanced warship. Fast, powerful, and heavily armed. But it's also dangerous. Its systems have capabilities that even we don't fully understand. Some say it's almost alive in the way it responds to threats." A murmur ran through the room. The Erebus was a legend, a ship that had been constructed in secret decades ago. Designed as a last resort weapon, it had the potential to turn the tide of any war, but its use came with risks. Many feared its unpredictable power, and others whispered rumors of crews lost to the ship's own experimental systems. Cale remained silent, weighing the risk. Humanity had always relied on courage and ingenuity to survive, and this moment demanded both in equal measure. "Prepare the Erebus," he finally said, his voice steady. "We don't have the luxury of hesitation. If we fail, there may be no one left to remember what humanity once was." The construction dock on the edge of the moon's orbit was a hive of activity. Engineers, technicians, and soldiers moved with precision, preparing the ship for a mission that could define the fate of the species. The Erebus floated silently in the docking bay, its black hull gleaming under artificial lights, angular and deadly. Its engines were dormant now, but the ship seemed to hum faintly, as if aware of the destiny it was about to face. Captain Celine Varga stood on the observation platform, watching as the crew boarded. She had been chosen to command the ship because of her experience, her quick thinking under pressure, and her unwavering resolve. Around her, the officers and crew moved with quiet confidence. Each of them knew the mission was nearly suicidal, yet none wavered. First Officer Ryan Merrick, a man whose calm demeanor masked a brilliant tactical mind, approached her. "Captain, systems checks are nearly complete. Weapons, shields, engines, and all green. Though I must warn you, the Erebus is sensitive to stress. We need to be careful with the power distribution." Celine nodded. "We'll handle it. Humanity is counting on us, Rian. If this ship can save even one colony, it will be worth it." The crew filed onto the ship. Soldiers carried equipment, scientists prepared research modules, and engineers checked every panel, wire, and conduit. The Erebus responded to their presence, its systems lighting up as if acknowledging the human intent behind its construction. As the final crew members took their stations, the docking bay doors slowly opened, revealing the vast emptiness of space beyond. The stars stretched in every direction, cold and indifferent. Celine felt a shiver of anticipation. Humanity's fate hung in the balance, and the Erebus was the spear aimed at the heart of darkness. "Engage launch sequence," Celine ordered. The ship trembled as its engines roared to life. Flames of ionized particles streamed behind it, propelling the vessel forward with terrifying speed. Sensors flickered and hums echoed through the hull. The Erebus was awake. Its crew could feel it, a pulse running beneath the floors, a heartbeat of the machine. As the ship cleared the dock and entered the void, Celine activated the ship's communication system. "This is Captain Selena Varga of the Erebus. To all human colonies, help is coming. Humanity will not fall. We are with you." Across space far below, colonies flickered in darkness, many already scarred by war. Yet in that moment, a spark of hope ignited. Humanity still had a fighting chance. The journey to the Xylar Rift was treacherous. Navigation officers worked tirelessly to plot a course through asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies, while the tactical team monitored for enemy patrols. Celine stood on the bridge, observing the stars shift as the Erebus carved a path through the void. "Captain," Ryan called, "we have a transmission. It's garbled, but it seems to be a distress call from one of the outer colonies." Celine's eyes narrowed. "Put it on screen." A flickering hologram appeared, showing a settlement under siege. Smoke rose from buildings, and silhouettes of alien ships moved across the horizon. The transmission cut in and out, the voices of the colonists urgent and terrified. "Can we save them?" Celine asked quietly. Ryan shook his head. "Not without risking the mission. The Xylars will detect us immediately if we engage now. The rift? It's the priority. If we fail there, humanity as a whole will be lost." Celine clenched her fists. Every life mattered, but the bigger picture demanded sacrifice. Humanity's last hope required focus, precision, and resolve beyond fear. "Keep the coordinates," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We'll return if we survive the rift, and we will survive." As the Erebus approached the edge of the rift, the stars began to twist unnaturally. Light bent in strange ways, and cosmic storms shimmered with colors no human eye had seen before. The crew felt the ship shudder as gravitational anomalies tugged at the hull. Dr. Alara Miles, the ship's xenoscientist, studied the readings in fascination. "These phenomena, they're not random. The rift itself seems aware of us. It's reacting to our presence." Celine's gaze hardened. "Then we proceed carefully. Every decision from this point forward could be life or death." The bridge fell silent, the only sounds the hum of the engines and the occasional beep of instruments. Outside, the universe became a twisting, shifting storm. Within the heart of that chaos, the Erebus pressed on, humanity's most dangerous ship carrying the galaxy's last hope. And for the first time in decades, a small spark of hope glimmered amidst the darkness. The Erebus surged forward, leaving the familiar glow of the Sol system behind. Stars stretched into long streaks as the ship's engines pushed it to speeds few other human vessels could reach. On the bridge, Captain Selene Varga stood with her hands lightly resting on the rail, eyes locked on the endless darkness ahead. This was the point of no return. "Ryan," she said, turning to her first officer, Lieutenant Ryan Merrick, "status report." "All systems green, Captain. Shields are holding, engines are stable, but the rift, it's behaving unpredictably," Ryan replied, his voice calm but tense. "Sensor readings are fluctuating. We might encounter gravitational anomalies or ion storms at any moment." Celine nodded. The Xylar Rift was infamous. It was a tear in space, a place where physics bent and reality seemed to twist. Many ships had attempted to cross it, and none had returned. Even the legends of its dangers could not fully prepare the crew for what lay ahead. "Prepare for turbulence," Celine commanded. "All stations stay alert. Any sudden movement could be fatal." Outside, the rift began to reveal its true nature. Waves of multicolored energy crashed across invisible boundaries. Streaks of lightning arced through space like furious serpents. The Erebus shuddered as gravitational waves tugged at its hull. Crew members clutched their stations as consoles flickered and alarms beeped. "Shields at 50%, called Lieutenant Corrin, chief engineer. "If we take another hit like that, we might not withstand the next surge." "Divert power to front shields," Celine ordered. "We'll use the ship's strength to push through." The ship's engines flared, sending the Erebus deeper into the maelstrom. Gravity wells bent light in strange ways, and stars appeared to split, multiplying endlessly across the viewports. The crew felt a strange sense of disorientation, as if the universe itself was testing them. Then a sudden pulse echoed through the ship. Lights flickered and the hull trembled. Sensors picked up a massive object ahead, something moving unlike any known vessel or asteroid. "Captain," Ryan shouted. "Something's coming toward us." Celine's eyes narrowed. "Target on the main screen." A shape appeared in the viewport, dark, enormous, and alive in a way that defied description. It moved with purpose, seemingly aware of the Erebus. Its surface rippled almost like liquid metal, and it emitted pulses of energy that interfered with the ship's instruments. "Dr. Miles' readings?" Celine asked. Alara Miles, the ship's xenolinguist, studied the holographic projections. "It's intelligent. I can't explain it fully yet, but it's not a natural phenomenon. It's aware of us and it's reacting to our presence." The bridge fell silent. Every crew member felt the weight of the moment. The Erebus had been built for danger, but this was unlike anything they had faced. "Rian, evasive maneuvers," Celine ordered. "Bring us around it slowly. Don't provoke it." The ship shifted, engines flaring as the massive object followed their movements. Every pulse of energy it released caused the Erebus to shudder. Sparks flew along the edges of consoles and the crew braced for impact. "This isn't just a ship, Captain," Alara continued, her voice tense. "It's a guardian, or a trap. Something created to prevent anyone from passing through this rift." Celine's jaw tightened. Humanity had faced enemies before. Aliens, rogue machines, even entire civilizations. But never had they faced the universe itself acting against them. Yet she could not falter. "We push forward. Maintain shields at maximum. We're not turning back." The Erebus glided past the enormous entity, its hull taking minor hits from energy pulses. The creature, or machine, seemed to test them, moving like a predator circling its prey. Crew members could feel the tension building, each heartbeat echoing across the ship. Suddenly the object surged forward, attempting to block their path. The Erebus shook violently as its shields absorbed the energy. Lights flickered and alarms screamed across the bridge. "Full power to engines," Celine shouted. "Reroute everything to shields and propulsion. We have to break through." The ship responded, engines glowing brighter, shields flaring. With a violent lurch, the Erebus accelerated, piercing through the storm of energy. Outside, stars twisted and bent, painting the universe in colors that no human mind could name. "Captain," Corin shouted. "Core temperature rising. If we push any harder, the engines might—" "I know," Celine said, her voice steady. "Do it, we have no choice. Humanity is depending on this." The ship groaned as it accelerated further. Crew members held onto their stations as the Erebus tore through the rift's heart. The massive entity continued to follow, matching their every move with uncanny precision. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the pulse stopped. Silence enveloped the ship. The rift itself seemed to hold its breath. The viewport revealed an area of calm, a strange pocket where space seemed almost ordinary again. The crew exhaled, relief washing over them. But Celine knew better. Calm in the rift meant only one thing. The challenge was not over. "Status," she ordered. Rian tapped the console. "Shields at 70%, engines stable but overheated." "The entity, it's still out there observing. Sensors can't get a full reading on it." Alara's brow furrowed. "It's intelligent, Captain. It's learning from us. Every move we make, it adapts," Celine nodded. "Then we stay sharp. Prepare for the next encounter." "And Rian?" "Yes, Captain? Keep the ship ready to respond instantly. We can't afford hesitation. Humanity is counting on us." In the mess hall, the crew gathered for a brief moment of respite. Soldiers checked their weapons, engineers monitored systems, and scientists analyzed data. Conversation was low, filled with careful whispers, but the atmosphere was tense yet resolute. Every member of the Erebus knew the importance of the mission. Failure meant the extinction of countless human lives. Success, however slim the chance, meant hope. Lieutenant Corin approached Celine as she reviewed the ship's logs. "Captain, the engines can't sustain this pace for long. We might have to risk slowing down in the next sector, or we risk permanent damage." Celine considered the advice. "We'll adapt. The rift isn't going to give us easy passage, but we have to push forward. Humanity's survival is not negotiable." Outside, the rift continued to shift. Cosmic storms danced in unnatural patterns. Gravitational anomalies twisted light, and the massive entity lingered, as if waiting for the Erebus to make a mistake. "Captain," Alara said, studying the readings, "there's something else." a pattern forming within the rift, almost like a path. It's subtle, but it seems deliberate. Someone, or something, wants us to reach the center. Selena's eyes narrowed. Then we follow it. Carefully, but without hesitation. We're going where no human has gone before, and if this rift has a heart, we will find it. As the Erebus plunged deeper into the maelstrom, the crew braced themselves. Every second could bring danger. Every choice could mean life or death. Yet amidst the fear, a spark of courage burned. Humanity had survived impossible odds before, and now, aboard its most dangerous ship, it would try again. The Erebus pressed on, a beacon of defiance in the twisting darkness. And in the void ahead, the rift waited, alive and intelligent, ready to challenge humanity's last hope. Word count. And 310 if you like. I can now write part 3 next, where the Erebus begins to face the rift's core dangers directly, and the alien intelligence tests them in even more dangerous ways. The Erebus moved steadily through the rift, every moment a careful negotiation with the unknown. Outside, space had become unrecognizable. Stars stretched into arcs and waves of multicolored energy pulsed rhythmically, almost like the heartbeat of the void itself. The crew had learned to trust their ship, but the rift was testing them in ways no simulation could predict. Captain Selena Varga stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the main viewport. Ryan, keep monitoring the entity. It's still out there. Lieutenant Rian Merrick tapped the console, his brow furrowed. It's tracking us, Captain. Every course correction we make, it mirrors, but it hasn't attacked directly since the last surge, almost like it's observing, studying. Dr. Alara Miles, leaning over the xenoscience console, whispered, It's intelligent, Captain. And it's learning. I can feel it, like it's probing our minds through the rift. Every maneuver we make, it calculates. Celine's jaw tightened. Humanity had faced enemies before, but this was different. The rift itself seemed alive, and the entity within it was more than a simple obstacle. It was a challenge, a test of courage, skill, and humanity's ingenuity. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected a massive gravitational wave approaching. The hull groaned as the Erebus rocked violently. Brace for impact, Celine shouted. The ship lurched as a ripple of energy swept across it, throwing crew members off their feet. Consoles sparked and alarms blared. Yet the Erebus held. Its shields flared, absorbing the brunt of the wave. Corin shouted from the engineering deck, shields at 30%. Core temperature rising. We can't take another hit like that. Celine's voice cut through the chaos. Divert all auxiliary power to shields and engines. Push through. The ship's engines glowed brighter as it accelerated, carving a path through the maelstrom. Outside, the rift twisted violently, a living storm of light and gravity. The crew clung to their stations, hearts pounding, minds focused on the mission. Humanity's survival depended on their success, and every moment was critical. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by alarms and the constant hum of the ship's systems. Then a new phenomenon appeared. The rift began to pulse, and the massive entity that had been observing them emerged fully from the swirling energy. Its form was colossal and fluid, shifting like liquid metal, with tendrils of energy reaching out into the rift. Captain, Ryan said, his voice tight, it's massive, and it's approaching fast. Celine nodded. Steady, Rian. Maintain course. Don't provoke it. Alara's fingers flew across the console. Captain, it's communicating somehow. The pulses are forming patterns and a language of sorts. It's challenging us, almost like it wants to see if we can survive. The bridge fell silent. Every crew member felt the weight of the moment. The Erebus was humanity's most advanced ship, but this test was unlike anything they had faced. The entity wasn't attacking, at least not yet. It was assessing, calculating, waiting for a mistake. Prepare evasive maneuvers, Celine commanded. We'll move in coordinated patterns. Watch for changes in its behavior. The ship responded, engines flaring as it shifted positions. Outside, the entity mirrored their movements, tendrils of energy rippling across space. Each motion was precise, deliberate, a dance between predator and prey. Then the entity launched its first strike. A wave of concentrated energy swept toward the Erebus, and the crew braced. Shields flared, taking the full impact. The ship groaned under the force, systems flickering and alarms screaming across the bridge. Corin shouted, Shields at 10%. If it hits again, we might not survive. Celine's eyes narrowed. Divert everything to shields. full power. We push through, or humanity is finished. With a surge of energy, the Erebus accelerated, weaving through the entity's attacks. The crew felt the tension coil around them, each heartbeat echoing through the ship. Every maneuver, every adjustment was a matter of life and death. Alara studied the entity's pulses closely. "Captain, I think I understand. It's testing our instincts, our decision-making. If we act with courage and intelligence, it may allow us to pass." But one misstep, she trailed off, letting the implication hang in the air. Celine clenched her fists. Humanity had always thrived on courage and ingenuity. She would not let fear dictate their actions. "Then we act boldly. We move forward, together." The Erebus pressed on, navigating the rift with precision. The entity followed, its energy pulses growing more complex, almost rhythmic, like a heartbeat challenging theirs. The ship's systems strained under the constant pressure, but Celine's crew remained focused. Every action, every decision was deliberate. Suddenly, the entity emitted a massive pulse directly in front of the ship. The Erebus lurched violently as shields absorbed the energy. Outside, the rift itself seemed to bend, colors shifting in impossible patterns. "Captain," Ryan shouted, "sensors are failing. We can't see a clear path." Celine's eyes scanned the viewport, searching for any clue. "Trust the ship. Trust yourselves. We've made it this far. We can survive this." With precise timing, the crew executed a coordinated maneuver. Engines flared, shields pulsed, and the Erebus twisted through the wave of energy. The entity recoiled, then circled around, testing them again. Hours passed in this dangerous dance. The crew's exhaustion was immense, but so was their determination. Humanity had survived countless threats, and aboard the Erebus they felt that resilience more strongly than ever. Alara, analyzing the energy patterns, spoke with a spark of hope. "Captain, I think it's learning from us. It's responding to our courage, our choices. If we continue to act decisively, it may allow us to pass through the rift safely." Celine's gaze hardened. "Then we continue. We face it head-on, without hesitation." As the Erebus approached the rift's center, the energy around them intensified. The entity moved closer, tendrils of pure energy stretching toward the ship. Each pulse caused the hull to vibrate, shaking consoles and rattling equipment. Corin shouted from engineering, "Core temperature critical. Engines at maximum stress. If we push any further—" "Do it anyway," Celine said. "There is no alternative. Humanity is counting on us." The ship surged forward, piercing the storm. Outside, the rift's colors swirled violently, stars bending and twisting. The entity unleashed a final, massive pulse of energy, and the crew braced. Shields flared, systems groaned, but the Erebus held. Then silence. The energy dissipated, the rift settling into an eerie calm. The massive entity hovered nearby, its form shifting, almost approving. Alara's voice broke the quiet. "Captain, I think it recognizes us. We've passed the test." Celine exhaled, relief mingling with exhaustion. "Not yet. The rift isn't done, but we've proven we can survive its challenges. Humanity is still in the fight." Ryan smiled faintly. "We made it this far, Captain." "That's already a victory," Celine nodded. The crew's courage, their skill, and their determination had carried them through the rift's first trials. Yet she knew the journey was far from over. The heart of the rift still awaited, and whatever lay ahead would demand even greater strength. In the quiet that followed, the crew took a brief moment to rest and recalibrate. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair minor damage. Scientists analyzed the rift's strange energy patterns, and soldiers maintained vigilance. The atmosphere was tense but filled with cautious optimism. Celine walked the bridge, looking at each member of her crew. Humanity has survived countless dangers, and now aboard this ship we carry the last hope of our species. We cannot falter. Whatever lies ahead, we face it together. Outside, the rift pulsed softly, its colors shifting in subtle patterns. The entity lingered, watching, waiting. But for now, humanity had endured. The Erebus pressed onward, deeper into the unknown, carrying the courage, ingenuity, and hope of an entire species. And somewhere within the heart of the rift, something ancient and intelligent had taken notice. The Erebus glided deeper into the heart of the Xylar rift. Outside the viewport, space had transformed into a storm of impossible colors. Ribbons of violet and green danced across the darkness, bending light in ways no human eye had ever seen. The crew had grown accustomed to the rift's unpredictability, but each moment brought new challenges. Each pulse of energy a reminder that danger lurked everywhere. Captain Selene Varga stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the chaotic void. She felt the weight of humanity's hope pressing down on her shoulders, heavier than any armor or shield. Ryan, keep monitoring the entity. I want to know the moment it moves. Lieutenant Rian Merrick's fingers flew across the console. It's following us, Captain. Close, but not attacking yet. Almost cautious. Like it's testing us. Dr. Alara Miles, leaning over the xenoscience console, whispered, I've never seen anything like this. It's alive, Captain. Not just alive, it's intelligent. It adapts to everything we do, learns from our patterns, anticipates our movements. Celine's jaw tightened. Humanity had faced enemies before, aliens, rogue machines, even other humans. But this was something different. The rift itself seemed sentient, and the entity within it was more than just an obstacle. It was a challenge, a test, and failure could mean the extinction of the human race. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected a massive gravitational anomaly directly ahead. The hull groaned as the Erebus was pulled toward the center. Alarms blared across the bridge. Brace for impact, Celine shouted. The ship lurched violently as waves of energy rippled across its hull. Consoles flickered, sparks flew, and the crew braced themselves. Shields flared, taking the brunt of the attack, but the force was immense. Corin shouted from engineering, Shields at 20%. If we take another hit like that, we might not survive. Celine's voice cut through the chaos. Divert all auxiliary power to shields and engines. Full speed ahead, the Erebus responded, engines blazing, tearing through the storm. Outside, the rift twisted and churned, a living storm of energy and gravity. The massive entity followed, its tendrils of energy stretching and pulsing, testing the ship's limits. Hours passed in tense silence. The crew focused entirely on survival. The Erebus had become more than a ship. It was a living extension of human ingenuity, responding to every command, every instinct, every heartbeat of its crew. Suddenly, the rift shifted violently. A wave of energy surged toward the ship, and the entity attacked directly for the first time. Its tendrils struck the Erebus, ripping across shields and hull. Alarms screamed and lights flickered as systems failed one by one. Divert all remaining power to shields, Celine shouted. Reroute engines and weapons. We fight our way through. Corin's voice was strained over the intercom. Engines overheating. We can't hold this much longer. Celine's eyes hardened. Do it anyway. Humanity depends on this. We don't give up. With a surge of energy, the Erebus accelerated, twisting through the tendrils of the entity. The crew felt every jolt, every impact, every moment of near disaster. But the ship held. The entity recoiled, and the rift itself seemed to calm, as if acknowledging their resilience. Alara studied the patterns of the entity's pulses. Captain, it's learning from us. Every brave decision, every calculated move makes it respect us. If we keep this up, we might reach the rift's center safely. Celine nodded. Then we continue. Steady hands, clear minds. Humanity is counting on us. As they pressed forward, a new challenge emerged. The rift began to warp space around the ship, creating false corridors and phantom obstacles. Stars appeared where none should exist. Gravity pulled in impossible directions, and the entity's tendrils stretched across space in unpredictable patterns. Captain, Ryan shouted, the rift is creating illusions. Sensors are unreliable. Celine's eyes scanned the viewport. Trust the ship. Trust your instincts. We've survived this far. We can survive this too. The crew moved with precision. Pilots adjusted course constantly, engineers stabilized systems under extreme stress, and soldiers monitored for any external threats. Every maneuver was a test of skill and courage. Suddenly, the entity pulsed again, sending a massive wave of energy directly at the Erebus. The ship shuddered violently. Shields flared and then collapsed under the force, exposing parts of the hull to the rift's fury. Hull breach in Sector 7, Corin shouted. Pressure dropping. We need to contain it. Celine didn't hesitate. Seal off the sector. Divert all remaining power to forward shields. Reroute engines for maximum acceleration. The Erebus groaned as it pushed forward, tearing through the rift storm. Outside, the colors of space twisted violently, and the massive entity followed, testing every limit of the ship and crew. Hours stretched like days as the Erebus fought its way through the rift. Crew members were exhausted, yet determination burned in every eye. Humanity had survived countless challenges, and aboard this ship, that resilience shone brightest. Finally, as the ship reached the central zone of the rift, The entity slowed. Its massive form shimmered almost as if it were observing the crew, acknowledging their bravery. "Captain," Alara whispered, "I think it's allowing us passage. Our courage, our decisions. It respects us." Celine's eyes narrowed. "We're not safe yet. Keep alert. The rift may still have surprises." Ryan studied the console. "Sensors indicate stable space ahead, Captain. The path to the Xylar Collective's stronghold is clear." For now, Celine took a deep breath. The crew had endured impossible trials. The gravitational anomalies, the entity's attacks, the constant threat of system failure. Yet they had pressed on, proving their skill, intelligence, and courage. Humanity's last hope had survived the first real test of the rift. "Prepare the ship for final approach," Celine ordered. "We move forward together. And we will finish what we started." Outside, the rift pulsed softly, colors shifting like a slow heartbeat. The entity hovered nearby, no longer attacking but watching. The Erebus was no longer merely a ship. It was a symbol, humanity's defiance in the face of the universe's most dangerous trials. The crew worked tirelessly, repairing minor damages, recalibrating sensors, and preparing weapons. Soldiers maintained vigilance, engineers stabilized systems under immense stress, and scientists studied the rift's energy, seeking patterns and weaknesses. Celine walked the bridge, looking at each crew member. "We've come this far because we refuse to give up. Humanity survives because we are brave, resourceful, and united. Whatever lies ahead, we face it together." Ryan gave a faint smile. "We've endured the rift's trials, Captain." "We can endure anything," Celine nodded. "Good, rest if you can. But be ready. The hardest part is still ahead. The Xylar Collective awaits, and we will meet them head-on." As the Erebus pressed deeper, the rift's heart remained a mysterious, living storm. The entity lingered, watching almost like a guardian or a gatekeeper. Humanity had survived its tests, but the ultimate challenge and a confrontation with the Xylars themselves was about to begin. And somewhere within the void, the stars themselves seemed to shimmer in anticipation, as if aware that the fate of humanity rested upon the courage of one ship and its crew. The Erebus emerged from the Xylar rift into a strange, glowing expanse. Stars were faint, twisted shapes against the dark void, and ahead loomed the Xylar Collective's stronghold. A fortress of unimaginable size floated in space, black and angular, with energy fields crackling along its surface. Entire fleets of Xylar warships orbited the structure, like predators circling a prize. Captain Celine Varga stood on the bridge, her gaze steady and unyielding. "This is it," she said softly. "The heart of the enemy. Humanity's fate depends on what we do next." Lieutenant Rian Merrick's fingers danced across the console. "Captain, the Collective is expecting us." Sensors indicate full alert. "They've locked onto our signature. Any sudden move will trigger an attack." Celine clenched her fists. "Then we don't wait. We strike first and we strike decisively. Humanity is not finished. We never were, and we never will be." Dr. Alara Miles studied the readings with intensity. "The rift gave us a path, Captain. It was guiding us, perhaps even giving us an advantage. If we use it wisely, we can bypass much of their outer defenses." Celine nodded. "Then we follow the path, carefully, but boldly." The Erebus surged forward, engines blazing, weaving through the Xylar patrols. Energy weapons flared across the void, and explosions lit the darkness as smaller Xylar ships attempted to intercept them. The crew moved with precision, coordinating maneuvers, managing shields, and firing weapons with deadly efficiency. "Shields at 80%, Captain," Rian reported. "We're taking heavy fire, but we're holding." "Maintain focus," Celine said. "We've faced worse. The rift prepared us for this." The ship weaved between attacks, every maneuver a test of skill and courage. Soldiers manned turrets, firing plasma rounds at approaching enemies. Engineers rerouted power to damaged sections, repairing systems in record time. Scientists monitored the rift's lingering energy, using it to stabilize shields and guide navigation. "Captain," Alara said, "the rift energy is still resonating with the ship. It's amplifying our weapons output. We can use it to punch through their defenses, but only once. We need to make it count." Celine's gaze hardened. "Then we make every shot matter. Humanity's survival depends on precision and courage." The Erebus reached the outer perimeter of the Xylar stronghold. Energy fields pulsed violently, capable of tearing apart the strongest ships. A fleet of Xylar warships advanced, their weapons aimed at humanity's last hope. The crew braced for the fight of their lives. "Target their command ship," Celine ordered. "If we take out the leadership, the rest may falter." Ryan executed the command, coordinating weapon systems. Plasma cannons flared, cutting through enemy ships. Explosions lit the darkness as the Erebus pushed forward, shields flaring under the intense fire. Hull integrity dropping. Corin shouted from engineering. "Shields at 30%. "Keep them steady," Celine shouted. "We survive or humanity ends." The ship weaved between energy blasts, its systems straining to the limit. Yet with every maneuver, the crew's confidence grew. They had survived the rift, endured the entity's trials, and now faced the collective's strongest defenses. Humanity's courage had never been stronger. Alara's voice broke through the chaos. "Captain, I found a weak point in their energy grid. If we concentrate fire there, we can breach the stronghold." Celine's eyes gleamed with determination. "Do it, full power, all weapons on that target. Humanity depends on this moment." The Erebus surged forward, weapons blazing. Plasma beams struck the Xylar stronghold's energy grid, creating cascading explosions that lit the void. The fortress shook and enemy ships scrambled in confusion. "Shields holding, Captain," Ryan shouted. "We've broken through their defenses." "Keep moving," Celine commanded. "We're not done yet." Push toward the central core. The ship navigated the interior of the stronghold, twisting through corridors of energy and floating debris. The Xylar collective fought back with everything they had, but the Erebus moved like a phantom, striking with precision and agility. Hull breaches detected in multiple sectors. Corin shouted. "We're holding, but just barely." Celine gritted her teeth. "Repair teams move now. We don't stop until this mission is complete." Finally, the Erebus reached the central core of the stronghold. Towering structures of dark energy surrounded them, and at the center, the Xylar command nexus pulsed with power. The final battle was at hand. "Prepare for the final strike," Celine said. "This is it. Humanity's future is in our hands. Fire everything at the nexus." The crew responded instantly. Plasma beams, missiles, and energy pulses rained down on the command nexus. The stronghold shook violently, alarms blaring across the Xylar ships. The energy field around the core fractured, sparks of power cascading into space. Alara monitored the readings. "Captain, it's collapsing. The nexus can't withstand another hit." Celine nodded. "Then we give it one last push. All weapons full power. Humanity will not fall." The Erebus unleashed everything it had. Beams of pure energy struck the core, shaking the entire structure. The Xylar warships faltered, their attacks less coordinated, their formations breaking. Slowly, the heart of the stronghold began to crumble. The crew braced as the stronghold's energy erupted in a blinding explosion. The force threw the Erebus backward, but the ship's shields held. Dust, debris, and energy swirled around them, and for a moment, silence filled the void. Then, cheers erupted across the ship. Humanity's last hope had succeeded. The Xylar collective's stronghold was destroyed, their fleet scattered, and humanity had survived against impossible odds. Captain Selene Varga stood on the bridge, looking at the stars ahead. "We did it," she said softly. "We've survived the impossible. Humanity is still here." Ryan smiled, exhaustion clear on his face. "We've proven what humans can do when we refuse to give up." Alara nodded. "The rift guided us. The entity tested us, and we prevailed. Humanity's courage, ingenuity, and unity have carried us through." Corin added. "The ship held, the crew held, and humanity endured. Against all odds, we survived." Celine looked at each crew member. "This is more than a victory. It's a testament to who we are. We are humanity. We do not falter. We do not surrender. And we never ever lose hope." As the Erebus left the debris of the Xylar stronghold behind, the crew felt a sense of awe. The void was quiet now, the remnants of the rift and the stronghold glowing faintly in the darkness. The ship had survived the impossible, and so had humanity. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly once more, calm and serene. Humanity had endured because of courage, skill, and the refusal to accept defeat. The Erebus had proven itself not just as a weapon but as a symbol of hope, unity, and the indomitable spirit of humankind. Captain Selene Varga gazed forward, toward the light of distant stars. The journey had been perilous and the battles were not without cost, but humanity had survived. And as long as ships like the Erebus sailed the void, and as long as people refused to surrender, hope would never be lost again. The crew of the Erebus stood together, tired but unbroken. They had faced the rift, the Xylar entity, and the might of the collective, and they had won. Humanity's story was far from over, but in this moment, victory was theirs, in the endless expanse of space. Among stars that seemed to shine just a little brighter, humanity had sent its most dangerous ship, and against all odds it had saved them all.